everybody. Thanks for joining us for our reading lesson. As promised, I put our learning intention and success criteria on a chart here. I know it looks like a lot, but we're going to go through it piece by piece so that you understand what we're working on in reading right now. So remember, a learning intention tells us what we want to be able to do by the end of our reading job, and our success criteria is how we're going to get there, okay? So we will practice the characteristics of good readers by exploring different genres. And notice how I put good readers in big capital letters because that's really what I want us to focus on. And then I underlined characteristics and genres because we need to come back to those words, and I pinky promise that we will figure out characteristics and genres very soon. You good with this so far, Miss Atwood?
Good.
Okay. Our success criteria, these are how we are going to be that good reader. I can. Put that in big capital letters too because I know you can do these things. It's really important to keep that mindset. I can understand the difference between fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. This is actually going to fit with one of these words up here. I'm not going to tell you which one. And then this is something that we already did. So I wrote and then I tried to make it look a little bit like what we had back on this whiteboard. This is going to go with one of those other words up here. So it's kind of like a puzzle. I'm not going to spoil that surprise yet. But good readers listen carefully with their ears. They learn new words, right? With their brain. You got it. They make connections to our lives. Remember, it's the book and you. Good job. And share ideas and feelings.
Ideas and feelings.
You got it. So we are going to keep working on all of these things today with a new book. But before we do, we need to check in with Miss Atwood and make sure that she's listening carefully. So I have some picture clues now to help Miss Atwood and myself and you make sure that you're listening carefully. You may recognize these from kindergarten. So, Miss Atwood, what's one thing that you need to do in order to listen carefully?
Body is still.
Okay, so we're not wiggling, we're not playing with our shoes, right?
You're sitting up straight.
Sitting up straight, I like it. So our body is still. How about this one, Miss Atwood?
Quiet voice.
Okay, that way, because if your mouth is going, then your ears aren't working.
Listening. That's right.
Ooh, here's the big one.
Ears listening. Both ears listening.
You've been working on this, haven't you, Miss Atwood?
Yes, I have.
I need to work on it too. And then last one.
Eyes watching. You gotta see in order to read.
Okay, so eyes are watching, ears are listening, lips are closed, body is still. So I know that as part of our success criteria, we can do those things. So today I want to talk about, as a good reader, the best places to read. Because it's so important that you have your learning space at home, but I also want you to have a reading space at home, and they don't need to be the same place. Your learning space is where you go to do things on the computer. If you're Zooming with me or you're trying to do work on Seesaw, your body needs to be in that learning space. But when you're reading, it might be a little bit different. So Miss Atwood, when you think of like a good place to read, what are some things that you think that would look like or sound like or feel like a good place to read?
A good place to read where there's quiet.
Ooh, why would that be important?
Because if you've got quiet and you can only hear yourself read, then you're going to absorb everything in your mind. Because if you're going to have distractions, that takes away from what you're reading.
I like it. All right, so we want to make sure that when we pick a place in our house or in the classroom that it's quiet. All right, what else do you think a good place to read might be?
Good lighting, so you can see what you're reading.
Oh, so maybe going in like a super dark closet?
No. Gotta have some lighting. See, I got sunlight from behind here.
Ooh, so it shines right on your book. You can see the pictures, you can see the words. That's really important. So when we pick a place, we want it to be quiet. We want it to have good light. What else?
And your chair needs to be comfortable, whether it's a wooden chair or a cloth chair, but you want it to be comfortable to your body.
And everybody's different. So what I find comfortable might not be comfortable
for you.
I gotcha. Okay. So if you're constantly having to like change positions and get up and fix something, it's probably not comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, and you won't really be focusing on the book. You'll be focusing on
your chair and getting comfortable.
How about safety?
don't wanna be in the doorway for somebody coming in if need to be, or you don't wanna be in the kitchen if mom's cooking, cause you might get in the way. It's gotta be by yourself and nobody else around.
I would agree with that. And again, like under things or on top of things, as long as you're being safe. But if it's a place where you might bump your head or fall off, that wouldn't count as safe. So quiet, good lighting, comfortable, and safe. Okay, so let's look at some places around our classroom to give our friends kind of an idea about picking a spot, and we'll decide if they're good places to read or not so good places to read. So I'm going to hold the iPad, Miss Atwood, and I want you to go find a spot to read, and then we'll check in with you. Ooh. So, Miss Atwood, where did you pick right now?
I picked the wooden chair. It's very comfortable. I'm leaning back a little bit so I can get even more comfortable. I like it here.
Okay. So, friends, would you consider this a good spot to read? Do you have enough light, Miss Atwood?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to cut on this light here, and I'll have even more light.
Or if you turn around the other way, turn behind you.
And a lamp right here.
Perfect. All right, so that... Where did Miss Atwood... Let's see if you can find her. There she is. Miss Atwood, where did you end up now?
I end up over here in the corner, by the door, on some balls. I don't think it's going to work.
Why not? What's going on?
Well, I got somebody that may come in the door there and disturb me. Then these balls are not stable. I might fall off.
Oh,
So I don't
no.
think that's going to work.
No, probably not your best place to read. All right. Maybe. What's going on here, Miss Atwood?
It's comfortable, but I got one thing that I don't need, or maybe two things that I don't need to be here. So if you've got your laptop or computer, it should be closed. You've got your music beside you, it should be off.
Oh.
So it's good as long as these two things are not getting my attention.
That makes sense. So you got good light, you feel safe because you're sitting in a chair, right? And you made sure your distractions were off. I love it. So a good place to read
Good place to read.
is that like a table or a chair?
Table or chair.
Okay. How about one more spot? So I think Miss Atwood was trying to get under that desk there.
Not too big.
Let's see if we can see her. There she is. So she couldn't fit under the desk, but now she's like leaning up against it. Miss Atwood,
Not a good idea.
why not?
Uncomfortable, no cushion on the floor. Leaning on this, the desk could move away from me.
Not
a
safe.
good idea.
Some friends, though, like to lay on the floor. Would that be okay?
Me personally, it's not for me, but a lot of the younger kids are comfortable with it. Pillow, lay there. Bean bag, lay there. Yeah,
That would be okay, right? As long as it's comfortable and safe for you. But this was not
this was not.
comfortable and
Yeah.
safe. Did you have one more place you wanted to go,
I
Miss
got one
Atwood?
more
Oh,
place,
okay.
my
All right.
favorite place.
I don't want her to miss her favorite place, so we'll let her go there.
Right here.
Ah!
Sofa's good, lighting's good, and it's comfy, and I'm ready to read.
All right, well, I'll let you get to it. We're going to set back up. What are you reading about today, Miss Atwood?
I'm reading Mr. Brown's Can Do, Can You?
Ooh, that's
by
a-
Dr. Seuss.
That is a good one. And you want to make sure that if I was reading at the same time you were reading, that I didn't pick the same spot. So I'd probably roll over here and take my book somewhere else and let Miss Atwood have her space to read. But because I'm sharing this with all of you, I'm going to come back and tell you that I actually have a book called The Best Place to Read. So I'm so glad that you found your best place, Miss Atwood. And I hope that little boy in this story can find his best place to read. We're going to make sure that we check back in with our things. Is it quiet? Is there enough light?
lighting,
Is it comfortable? Is it
safe.
safe? And we'll see if he uses those to help him too. The best place to read. So you're not going to read your book while I read my
I'm
book,
going to
right?
listen to you and read yours.
Super. The best place to read. Ooh, it has a dedication in this one. That was something we talked about
that's
yesterday.
right.
It says, to Arnie and Jordan, our husbands, our cheerleaders, our best friends with love, Debbie and Susan. That must be
Okay,
the
the
people that
author.
wrote it, the author.
Okay.
And then the other one says, to my Aunt Helen. So that's
Oh.
from the illustrator. Okay. So, a new book for me. I can't wait to read. I run to my little own chair. I'm growing too tall, and the seat is too small. So I am not comfortable there. Oof.
Too little for him,
So it may have been a good spot at some point, but
but not now.
it's not comfortable anymore. Let's see what he does next. Into the Den. That's a good place to read. I love Grammy's soft, cozy chair. But so does old Rover. I tell him, move over. But he won't make room for me there. So friends, I have to say that this happens a lot at my house. There's never room for me in the bed or on the couches, so I have to tell the dogs to move over. But I know that that's not a good place for me to read because I will fall asleep. As soon as I'm curled up with those dogs, I'm out like a light. So I don't pick that to read in, even though it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm just going to fall right asleep. So no room in this chair. Ooh. Daddy's chair must be magic. The seat can move back, up, and down in his big leather chair. A cool, windy feeling. Ooh, the fan on the ceiling is spinning and blasting cold air. I don't really like to read in places where I get cold.
Cold. I can't function well when I'm cold.
So maybe sometimes, like if it's cold outside, it's probably not a good place to read, or right in front of the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Not so great, but too warm too. Like I said, with my dogs, I get really warm and then I go to sleep. Snack time. I'm hungry. I'll read in the kitchen. Baby's booster is next to my chair. Oh, the table's so sticky. My hands get all icky. Yuck! Why would I want to read there? I feel like this might be true at some of our friends' houses. I think that maybe you guys might have older brothers or younger sisters, people around, like you said, cooking sometimes in the kitchen. Not always the best place. Maybe sometimes it's good, but not all the time. Ooh. Grandpa looks comfy wherever he reads in his lumpy and bumpy old chair. My book drops to my feet when springs poke through the seat. Boing!
No.
I bounce so high up in the air. So kind of like we said, it's comfy for some people,
But not comfy for him.
but not comfy for him. So it didn't look like it was safe either with that spring.
That spring. Ooh,
Makes me think of when you went over to the balls.
Yes.
And you weren't safe on those. Ooh, upstairs, I'll read in my big brother's room. I flop on his round beanbag chair. Surprise! I yell eek as the chair springs a leak. There are beans and more beans everywhere. So make sure that this is a good place for you. Don't go to your brother or your sister's room because that's their stuff, right?
That's their stuff.
Find their own place to read. Ooh. Her Highness the Princess, that's my big sis. A gold seat like a throne is her chair. But her stereo is singing and her telephone is ringing too loud. Who could ever read there? We said quiet was important. And I know when you were over there, you turned your music down so that it was quiet. That was a really good idea. So back down the stairs, where can I read? In Auntie's old wood rocking chair? Like a rocking machine, I feel seasick and green. I have to go out for some air. So I know people that do like to read in a rocking chair. Do you pick that sometimes?
Yeah, I like a rocking chair.
I don't have any at my house, but we're definitely looking for one. But I get it. That might make some people uncomfortable. Ooh, the backyard is great. I can read on the grass. I'll sit on a patio chair. The sprinklers! Oh no! Splash me head to toe. So now it's too wet to read there. So that might be a problem outside too. You have to check and see. You know, if it hasn't been raining, right, or you don't have a sprinkler, maybe you could read outside. But you wouldn't want to read like in your bathtub.
Yeah.
When the water's running.
It wet.
No. If it's dry, maybe.
Yeah.
But be careful with those books. Make sure they stay safe. Oh. Go sad.
Soaking wet.
Go wet. I dry myself off. I give up. I can't read. I've tried to sit down everywhere. With no reading done, I'm still on page 1. I can't find a comfortable chair. Mommy! Oh, Mom, may I sit on your lap? I love it so much when we share. the best place to be, just my book, Mom, and me, at last, in a comfortable chair.
So being with Mommy in her comfy chair was his spot.
Was his spot, yep. So that is nice sometimes to read with somebody else, maybe show off some of the pictures or show how you can read those words, be able to ask for help. So that could be a good fit spot as long as you also have a spot for you. Okay, we are going to ask you to find like a by yourself spot to read. And that's the end, all right? So I'm going to turn you around in just a second to show you what you're going to do on Seesaw, all right? But I feel like these things were important to him. The one thing I didn't notice him talk about was lighting. But I do want that to be important to you because I know that you probably have some spaces that are dark at your house that maybe you like to go and feel safe, but that doesn't always make it a good reading spot. So quiet, enough light, comfortable, and safe. This one, again, like in a place where people walk all the time, probably not such a good idea at your house.
Right.
So we're going to...
Can you see it?
Yep, perfect. All right, so friends, on Seesaw, you're going to see a spot that says, where do you like to read? Okay, and it gives you some clue ideas down here that go with what we've been talking about on our anchor chart. Like, is it comfortable, too small or too large? Is it dry and not too warm or too cold? So this will kind of help you go through our checklist and decide a good spot. When you think you found one, this is where I want you to take a picture with that photo tool, okay? So you're gonna put your picture of either you in the spot, so have somebody else take your picture, or you can just use your iPad to take the picture of the spot itself, okay? So you're gonna put a photo of your reading spot when you find it here, and then in this space next to it, I want you to click that T for typing, okay? And I want you to type a little bit about where your spot is. So you might say, I read in, and tell me a little bit, or I like to read, and tell me a little bit about your space, okay? But I want you to use the typing tool to put some words here that go with the picture that you have here. All right, sound good, Miss Atwood?
Good.
Thank you guys for joining us for reading today. I will see you a bit later. Love you.